Welcome to Life and DNA with Amanda Renee. I'm so glad you joined me today. Let's get started. I didn't have an episode last week because I was in the process of getting my MRI on my brain when I normally would be recording, and I kind of had a busy week. But I'll get into all that in a second. So if you're new to my channel or my podcast, I have Hashimoto's. I am trying really hard to get to the root cause of that. But if you have Hashimoto's or if you know anyone that has it, you know it's a very long, annoying, tiring process to get that done. And I've known that I have it for, oh goodness, I don't know, several years now, over 5 years probably, at least 5, if not more. And doctor after doctor, reading this book and that book, and still struggling. But I had to have the MRI. I've been having headaches. I should have brought my little calendar to show you, those of you that are watching on YouTube. But the past 2 months, I have had headaches way more than I have had days without headaches. I think so far in March, and today I'm recording, it's the 20th. I have had a total of 4 days without a headache, I think. 5 max out of 20. And February was about the same. So, trying to figure that out. You add that on top of the memory issues. Of course, with Hashimoto's, memory issues are common. And then I get dizzy a little bit sometimes. And the Friday before last, I got up, and my husband texted me, and I went to read the text, and I could not read it. It was blurry. So I was like rubbing my eyes, trying to squint. Nothing would clear it up for a while, and that kind of freaked me out. And so I called my doctor. I think I said last time the insurance had not approved the CT scan on my brain. So she went into action and made several phone calls, I think, and they ended up approving an MRI, which she was glad because that's clearer pictures. And normally you have to have the CT first because our health system is annoying. Instead of going right to the one that would give you all the answers, no, you got to have these little ones first. It's ridiculous. And but anyway, they were like, okay, we approve an MRI, and so I had to drive 2.5 hours last week to go and get that done. That was interesting. I was scared. I Googled and read everything up on it, and paid attention to everything they sent me and went on their website. It was an imaging place. And so that's all they do is imaging, and read all the instructions. So I didn't wear my earrings. I took my glasses and my watch off. I wore one of my workout wedding rings instead of my actual wedding ring. I wore gym clothes up there, and so that I wasn't going to have anything metal. I didn't want anything setting it off. And so yeah, I had to go in there and lay down. I was kind of freaking out. And they put headphones kind of like this but covered in plastic, and they're a little more noise canceling than what these are on you, and they played music. And I had to get one without contrast and then with contrast, and so he injected whatever it is they inject. Now, if you see, I still have a bruise because I don't know if it's from the stuff they injected or what he did to me, but it hurt when he took the needle out, and I have a bruise there from that. But it's kind of par for the course with me and needles for some reason. So yeah, I had that, and then I had to wait That was on a Wednesday, and I didn't get to hear anything back until Saturday morning. I still haven't heard from my doctor. I'm going to call her this afternoon. I need to see her about some other things anyway. But the place sent me a copy of the report, and they didn't see anything abnormal. Of course, I've learned that what doctors say is normal isn't always, doesn't always mean that things are great. So I'm curious to see what my doctor says. And the place also said that you can call them and they can put the images on a disc and get that to you. So I'm going to see if they can do that, because I'm just kind of a science nerd that way, and I want to see what my brain looked like. So that was my week last week. And I will say, I would have tried to record later in the week, but it knocked me down. Something has knocked me down. I've learned over the past couple of years, was it 2 years ago, I really thought something was wrong with my heart. And it kind of freaked me out because thyroid issues and heart issues can go hand in hand. And my great-grandmother, who I believe from pictures must have had Hashimoto's, because you can tell she has a lump in her throat. And she did have thyroid issues. My aunts would tell me that I think she didn't have the right medication, or she wouldn't take her meds. And then she died of heart issues. So when I found that out, with me having Hashimoto's, and then when I started having like palpitations and stuff, it like really freaked me out. And I spent a whole year off and on getting test after test on my heart, and they didn't find anything wrong, so that was good. But I still kind of watched that. I've noticed that, because I was also working out around the same time, and I noticed if my heart rate went above like 150, or even kind of got close to that, but if it went over, then I would have issues, and I would be knocked down for days, sometimes a week or two at a time, depending on how hard I pushed myself. So I backed off, and I would watch my heart rate. Eventually, I just quit working out because I'm so scared of getting knocked down. And then I figured out the past couple weeks why I always end up pushing myself for something, and reminding myself why I don't push myself. It's just never worth it. I had a few years ago from the Arbor Foundation got the little baby trees that they send you for, like, you donate $10 and they send you a bunch of baby trees. Well, I planted several in our backyard in a nice spot where they would be protected and not get too much sun. And two survived out of, I think, the 6 or 7 that I planted. 2 survived. And last year in the winter, I dug the holes for them where I wanted to plant them. And because you're supposed to let them grow in the nice spot for 2 years and then transplant them to their permanent home. And I dug the holes. That knocked me down. Of course, that was a lot of work. That knocked me down. So I didn't ever end up transplanting them last year. They got an extra year in the safe spot. And this year, the other day, I just went out. It was a Saturday. The weather was actually nice. We weren't going anywhere. And I went to take the trash out. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's a really nice day. And I have a tiny bit of energy. I'm just going to go transplant those trees. And so I didn't think about it too much. I just went and did it. And I did notice my heart rate getting up. My watch said it went up to like 160 for I don't know how long. My son went and helped me, so it wasn't like I did it by myself. I tried to pace myself. Oh, and my daughter helped later with the second one too. The holes were already dug. All I had to do was kind of clean them out once I saw, how far down I needed to go with the actual trees. And I had to carry and move several heavy bags of dirt, and that may have been part of the problem too. So I did all of that, and the second tree was a little bigger, so the roots were harder to get to. But anyway, I did that, and I was okay kind of the rest of the day. I just relaxed. It was Saturday and relaxed. But I noticed a couple of days later, I was down. Like, I had no energy. I felt almost like the tired you get when you have allergies, only I didn't have any allergy symptoms. So I was very, very exhausted. And so I was kind of recovering from that when I went to get my MRI. And I don't know if it was just the stress I was under, because I was very tense. I ended up having to drive us. The eye thing, when my vision got blurry, I didn't want to wait till later in the week when my husband could go with me and take off. So my dad ended up going with us. And I think he's a little iffy on wanting to, drive long distances and in city traffic when he doesn't have to. And so I ended up driving, and it was just, that was stressful on top of being worried about the MRI and being nervous about that. And then we drove the 2.5 hours, and the short little span that I was on I-35 was crazy, and I'm not used to that anymore. So that was intense for me. And then on the way back, another 2.5 hours. I was wiped out. I mean, bad wiped out. Like, really, really tired. The kids were kind of mad at me because it was a Wednesday night, so there was church and youth, and they had to miss it. And I felt bad, but I wanted to cry, just thinking about getting back in the car and having to go somewhere else. I was so tired. And so I made them miss church. And I spent like the next 2 or 3 evenings like coming in here and laying down and resting, instead of even sitting in there with everybody else in the living room. I just needed to lay down and relax every evening. Just doing what I had to do during the day, like cooking supper and teaching the kids and taking them where they needed to go, was all I could manage to get through in a day. And it was just really, really hard. And I am still, it's been a week and a half, I'm still struggling to have any energy to do anything. So I say all that to say that that is why I am really, really focused on trying to figure out what's causing it and why I'm feeling like this all the time, why I have Hashimoto's, and help myself to get better. Like I've said in the past couple, my husband actually found, and then I joined too, a new doctor in town, and I actually won a gift basket. This t-shirt is from there, Reliant. I won a little gift basket. I was going to show y'all. It had more stuff in it. I've taken some of the stuff out. Isn't that pretty? I got a hat. I got this t-shirt. I got this candle. It smells nice. I have used it once or twice so far. I got a little, I call them a zhuzher, but it's electric mixer. That'll help once I start. The candle actually came with this thing. It's a little metal straw, so that when the candle burns out, you can use it as a glass. And they got 2 little glass cups with lids and glass straws and something to clean them with. And like I said, oh, and then some candy, I think, came in it. But that was fun to win. Anyway, so this doctor, I'm hoping will help me. And the past 2 nights, tonight is the 3rd night, I was taking a hormone and menopause masterclass with Dr. Heather Stone. If you've listened to me before, I know you've heard me talk about her. I'm currently reading her book. I'm almost done. And she had Hashimoto's, and she kind of specializes in helping women with thyroid issues and now hormone issues too. So I've been taking that. I thought she's only licensed to help people in Arizona, Colorado, and Texas. I thought mistakenly that there was a workaround with that and that I could actually save up and get help with her, but I was wrong. If you have to actually physically live in one of those states to get her to be her patient. And so, but I've been saving up for testing, and even though I can't spend it with her, I will be able to use it hopefully with my new doctor. But it's been really good going through and learning all the stuff that I need to learn so that I know the right tests to look for and the right questions to ask my new doctor. And she has always said, if it's something like outside of her wheelhouse, that she will find someone to send me to for any particular issue. So I'm going to try and learn as much as I can, take as many notes as I can, and being the kind of nerdy person that I am, I plan on typing up all my notes and making a little, brochure or something to take to my new doctor and ask her about all of this, because I want help now, and it is so annoying that you have to have this test and wait for those results, and then wait for the doctor to talk to you about them, and then you've got it, oh, well, that wasn't it, so maybe now it's this. And I'm just like, give me all the tests, tell me all the things, and then tell me what I need to do or take or quit taking to get better, because I'm over this. I'm so over this. I want to have energy. I want to be able to work out again. I want to lose the extra weight that I have on me. I want to feel good. I'm tired of being tired all the time. But I had my basic hormones tested. She didn't even run the full panel that I know I need to have run. Not my new doctor, but my gynecologist. And so I see her tomorrow, and I'm gonna hear her out and see what she has to say. I doubt it's gonna be what I want done. So if not, I still go to her for other things. But I will take that information to my new doctor, and I think she will help me get the deeper testing done to really figure out what's going on with my hormones, because you can see all my notes from the hormone class. What I've learned from Dr. Heather is that there are 13, a full hormone panel is 13 markers. There are 3 estrogens, estrone, estradiol, and estriol, and you need to get the total of each of those and the free fraction numbers of those. There's also the SHBG, the sex hormone binding globulin. You need to know that. Progesterone, total and free factoring. Testosterone, total and free. I think she actually did test that one on me both of those, but only one of the others. And then your LH and your FSH. And according to Dr. Heather, not just in your blood, because what's in the blood is just what's in your bloodstream right then. It's not giving you the full picture. She said you need to run it in saliva. That tests testing your hormones, and when saliva tests at a tissue level, and run it in urine, and that tells you the metabolites and how your body is actually breaking it down. So I'm hoping that my new doctor can help me to get those tests run. Dr. Heather was going through the different symptoms for the different hormones and symptoms of low estrogen. There were a few others. I just wrote down the ones I happen to have. But for low estrogen, it was weight gain, insomnia. I don't usually have insomnia. I have more trouble staying asleep all through the night. Lack of sex drive. I don't always have to I don't always have too much trouble with that. Trouble concentrating, yes. Hot flashes, like at night, I tend to have that. Headaches, obviously. I can't even read half of my handwriting. That's what's bad. And then fatigue. Low testosterone, reduced muscle strength, but that's probably because I don't have this energy to do anything. Prolonged recovery, yeah, it takes me a long time to recover, like I said, from doing anything, and fatigue. Low progesterone, that was the one I associated more with. The bloating, yes. Can't stay asleep, yes. Headaches, yes. Hot flashes sometimes. Weight gain, yes. And anxiety, I don't struggle with that as much, but it's like an off and on for me type of thing. I haven't had it in a while, thankfully, though. And then high testosterone, the weight gain and fatigue. But so you have to have your stuff tested because some of the same symptoms are for every single one of the hormones, which is kind of annoying. The thing that Dr. Heather stressed was that it is not normal to have symptoms as we age. We've accepted that as normal because most people do. But she said that just because something is common does not mean it's normal. And we should not be having symptoms in perimenopause or going into menopause. I don't even know if, I'm guessing being 47 that I'm probably in perimenopause, but I have no clue. So, I've had trouble even, before any of that. So, I don't know what stage I'm in. Let's see. It's going to tell you, it's going to hit the highlights for you. So perimenopause symptoms, or what people say you have as hot flashes, weight gain, mood changes, low sex drive, trouble concentrating, night sweats, headaches, vaginal dryness, can't stay asleep, joint and muscle aches. I do have that. A lot of that. PMS-like symptoms, and you have to pee often. Yeah, guilty of that too. But what she said was that you shouldn't have that because if your body is functioning the way it's supposed to during perimenopause or premenopause, so when you're a menstruating woman, your ovaries are controlling the majority of your hormones. When you go into perimenopause, your adrenal glands are supposed to start working with your ovaries to keep everything balanced. And then when you're in menopause and your ovaries have shut down, your adrenal glands take over. But for those of us with Hashimoto's and low thyroid, our hormones are out of balance anyway, and pretty positive I have adrenal fatigue. And so my adrenal glands aren't going to be helping anything out because I'm pretty sure they can't even do their job right now anyway. But you also have to have, like, your pituitary gland has to send the signals to your ovaries and to your adrenals. So if there's something wrong there in that pathway, that can be bad. Let's see. So yeah, when your adrenal glands aren't working right, they won't help make the hormones. Dr. Heather is all about getting to the root cause. So she's not against hormone replacement therapy, but she doesn't want people to use it like long term, because when you do that, then your body gets less able to make it itself, or able to use it because you've flooded it with all these hormones, and then she said it causes the receptor sites to kind of down-regulate. So instead of having 10 receptor sites for your hormones, you flood it with all these hormones, it'll shut some of them off, and then you're down to just a few, which I guess is bad. But she said to definitely, if you're having tons of symptoms, like I am, use it to help you until you get the information you need to figure out the root cause and get all of that worked out. Let's see. So yeah, during perimenopause, you have erratic progesterone and estrogen levels coming out of the ovaries, which isn't a good thing. And then she said menopause symptoms are osteoporosis, cognitive decline, cardiovascular disease, urinary incontinence, and there was one more, but I didn't take notes fast enough to catch it. And when you take a hormone, you don't know where or how it'll go in the chain of command. She had a graphic that showed all these different places that the hormones could go, all the different pathways they could take. And when you just pump a hormone into you, if you don't know what's going on in the different chains and where it's going to go and how it's going to get where it's going to go, then you don't have all the information, and you might just be flooding your body with hormones that it can't really do anything with. What'd you say? Topically, when you put hormones on topically, which is, I know my mother does this, and I used to do it because I used to listen to my mom. And it helped for a while. I will always be thankful for it because I actually got pregnant with both of my kids from using it. I was low progesterone. No doctor ever checked my hormones back then. I didn't know to ask for it. I don't even think I really went to the doctors until after I was pregnant anyway, because I was kind of stupid that way. But I needed progesterone even back then, and when I used it topically, it gave me enough. It did enough for my body to get me pregnant, and so that helped. Obviously with the help of my husband. But she said to use them topically is just free hormones. It's not working with the carrier proteins. It saturates your tissues and it downregulates receptor sites, making fewer receptor sites. So it's not good to use the topical hormones for very long. And when you use the injections, it starts at the endocrine gland, which at least is better because at least that sets it on part of the chains. So doctors usually just test our total numbers, but that's not the big picture. And then I told you the list she said to do. Last night's notes, she talked a lot about Dutch testing, and I went on kind of a deep dive on this last night because obviously I want to figure something out. I'm hoping my doctor can order this. and get it a little cheaper, but I did find a website where I can get it. It's just crazy how expensive it is. But the Dutch test does tell you a lot of information. So I'm hoping that can help. It does do all of the, if you get the right one, it'll tell you all of those things about your hormones. It also tracks the cortisol, which I have a really strong feeling is way off on me. And then a bunch of your vitamins and some other things. It had a whole big report that you get when you do this test. So yeah, she was talking about having Hashimoto's, that your thyroid gland is being destroyed. That all the pathways have to be working or your body can't use them. And that includes, same for the thyroid, the thyroid hormones that they have to test. The different parts of your body that work together with your hormones was crazy. I didn't realize exactly that all of that went together. She said your liver and gallbladder work really close together with each other, but they also work with hormones. Your liver detoxes you, obviously. But when the ovaries produce hormones, the hormones don't last long, so they use them, and then they have to be cleared out. And when they can be cleared out through your liver, I think the liver changes them from being fat soluble to water soluble, so that you can urinate them out, or they go through your feces, or you sweat them out, which is why saunas are supposed to be helpful. Let's see. But the liver gallbladder relationship also affects thyroid health too. She was saying that our current medical system, they have a 3-point method of dealing with anything, and it's drug it out, burn it out, or cut it out. And some people in the comments were asking about gallbladders, and doctors are very quick to just cut out your gallbladder, but you need it. And so she was saying that if you supplement with a bile salt supplement, it'll help to dissolve gallstones. The gallbladder is also where the liver and gallbladder, I'm not sure which one she was talking about for sure, is where T4 is converted to T3. So for those of us with thyroid issues, that's important. Their microbiome is also important. If you have inflammation in your gut, it can cause weak hormones to be pushed back into your bloodstream, and so they're not going to do as much for you. But if you get your blood work done, it's still going to show up as that hormone. So even though it's a weaker version that isn't going to help you, it still looks like your levels are fine. Your blood sugar and insulin resistance, that also has an effect. If you have a weight issue, she says you have a blood sugar issue. So dysregulation somewhere. And I believe I've talked on here because she did a weight masterclass a few months ago, and I took a few notes there, but I screenshotted when she said all the tests that you need run, and so I do want to get my doctor to run those also, because I obviously have a weight issue, so that means I have a blood sugar issue somewhere. And my last doctor, all they ran was the A1C, and that's not going to tell you much of anything. Your endocrine gland synthesis, that's the gland that's actually making your endocrine glands actually make the hormones. She was saying that autoimmune conditions can make your body attack the ovaries too. I didn't realize that. That's crazy. And maybe part of what's going on with me. And then detoxification and toxin exposure. So the hormone disruptors like plastics, the BPA, it's said that it tricks your body into thinking that they're hormones, and so it'll let them on the hormone receptor site, but they're not. They're toxins. And she said BPA is like a life toxin. Like, unless you take something to specifically get it out of your body, it will stay in there for the rest of your life, which really creeped me out. And now I really want to go research. And when she does the Q&A, I might ask her, what do you use to get that out of your system? Because I know, especially growing up in the 80s and 90s when plastic was everywhere and you didn't hear about BPA until just, 10 or so years ago, that I've probably been exposed multiple times. If you live in the 3 states with Dr. Heather and you are blessed enough to get to do her testing, she tests for 167 markers, and she has a cheaper rate when you go through the masterclass of doing it. I was really disappointed that I wasn't going to get to do that, but I am at least excited that I have a doctor that's willing to help me and work with me. And I do think, besides testing for the extensive blood sugar issues, I definitely want to get one of the Dutch tests and get the cortisol and the hormones and everything, the whole big picture completely figured out. The website that I found last night actually had a combo test that you could get where it did all of the hormones. It does the regular Dutch test, but you also do I can't remember what it was called, but it was basically like a month-long mapping of your period, like your hormones through your whole cycle mapping, I think is what it's called. But it maps the whole month. I think you have to, whatever the test was, whether it's saliva or urine, you have to take a sample every morning, I think. And then this test will tell you where your hormones are and whether they're normal for that point in your cycle or not. Which I would imagine could help your doctor figure out kind of where things were going wrong. So that one wasn't much more than the other one. So I'm thinking about doing that one just so I can kind of see. I've always been curious when I was having trouble getting pregnant. And another quick fact from Dr. Heather was it takes 18 months. It can take up to 18 months after getting off birth control to be fertile again. And no one told me that. I thought that once I got off of it, I would just be fertile, because that's kind of what they tell you. But that's not true. And so I kind of freaked out when it was month after month after month of trying to get pregnant and nothing was happening. Yeah. So, I wasn't really sure if I was even ovulating every month. So that test would kind of help me see if that's even going correctly or not. So that's kind of the update I wanted to give you. Tell you how the MRI went. I will be taking notes tonight, and if I have any new information, I will pass it on, and I'll let you know what's going on when I talk to my doctors this week. Hopefully I can get something moving forward, because I'm ready. And I'm going to be ordering the kids homeschool stuff soon, so I will do a video on that, episode on that as well. And yeah, until then, I will see you later. Thank you for listening today at Life and DNA with Amanda Renee. I will see you again next week. Bye.